I started this one and had to start over because someone walked in my office. Sorry about that. So let's just pick up where I left off, but I'm going to re-say everything. The unit price of an item affects its supply and demand. That is, if the unit price goes up, the demand for the item will usually decrease. For example, a local newspaper currently has 84,000 subscribers and a quarterly charge of $30. Market research has suggested that if the owners raised the price to $32, they would lose 5,000 subscribers. Assuming that subscriptions are linearly related to the price, what price should the newspaper charge for a quarterly subscription to maximize their revenue? So at the top of the page, I've given you a revenue function. I really shouldn't have put this X on here for the way that I have it set up, but hopefully you'll get the idea. So revenue is equal to price times the quantity. Think about that for a second. The price of something times how many you sell is how much money you make, right? It's just an easier way to say that. So they gave us a couple of things that are kind of grouped together. The $30 goes with 84,000 subscribers, and the $32 goes with the 5,000 less subscribers. So since this is linearly related, what we need to do is come up with our linear function. We did this in chapters 4 and I think chapter 2. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of a review. But we do have to figure out what's going to represent X and what's going to represent Y. It says subscriptions are linearly related to price. If you remember the wording from chapter 4, you know that the price is going to be X in this case. Another way you can think about it is Y is dependent on X. So the number of subscribers depends on how much money they're going to be charged, right? So whenever we set up our ordered pairs, the $30 will be paired with 84,000 subscribers. We put the price for X, the subscribers for Y. By the same token, we can set up our other ordered pair as $32, and 5,000 less than 84,000 is 79,000 subscribers. Now that we have our two ordered pairs, we can actually write our slope formula. Remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 79,000 minus 84,000 is going to be a negative 5,000 over 32 minus 30. That reduces to negative 2,500. So we have our slope. We can use our point slope formula to write the equation of the line. Remember, your point slope formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we have y minus y1, doesn't really matter which one we use, equals m times x minus x1. Multiply the 2,500 out. $30 times 2,500 is going to be 75,000. And we're going to add 84,000 to both sides because we want this to be in a function of x. So y is equal to negative 2,500x plus, what is that, 159,000? This is our function of x, or our quantity, our q of x. Let me put that in there too. Alright, so we can't really get a maximum from a line, a straight line, because that will go on forever and ever. but we could possibly get a maximum from a quadratic. Now, how can we get a quadratic out of this? Let's go back to our function. Revenue is equal to price times quantity. So revenue is equal to the price. Remember, X here was the price, so I could really put a P right there, right? Price times quantity. Multiply this out, we get negative 2500 P squared plus 159,000 P. Do you notice we now have a quadratic? Since A is negative, the quadratic, or the parabola, opens down, which means we have a maximum. So let's see what happens when we find our vertex. P, which is the same thing as X in this case, is equal to negative B over 2A. So negative 159,000 over 2 times A. If you want to do 159,000 divided by 5,000, you get 31.8. Now, what does that mean? Do you remember how we defined our P at the beginning? P is your price, right? This is your P, this is your Q, price, quantity. Alright, so this is your P. This is the price they need to charge for that subscription to maximize their quantity sold. Now, if they did ask you what that quantity is or what the revenue for that is, then you could simply substitute this back in to your function here. I couldn't find it. So substitute this back in to find what your revenue would be. Revenue. And if you wanted to know what quantity that would sell, you could put it into this one, because that's your quantity right there.